So right now, your absolute favorite local pizza joint, the one you order from all the time, might be paying a massive tech giant, like
Right.
up to 30% of their revenue, just to deliver a pie to your front door.
Yeah, 30% is it's brutal for the restaurant business.
It really is. But hiding in plain sight on that very same restaurant's website is this $10,000 piece of secret technology that's basically designed to fight back.
Right.
Because over 60% of people now choose to have their meals delivered to their doorstep, and the way that food gets to you is just fundamentally changing.
Totally changing.
So today we are taking a custom-tailored deep dive into the world of the white label food delivery app. We're going to unpack the actual mechanics of how local restaurants are fighting back against these tech giants essentially by using the tech industry's own playbook against them.
Yeah, and to kind of set the mood for this whole intersection of food and commerce and code, I want you to imagine my visual backdrop today is this like bustling, neon-lit digital cityscape that just slowly fades into cascading lines of software architecture.
Oh, I love that. Very Matrix meets Midnight Snack.
Exactly. Because when you tap your phone on a Friday night to order, pad thai, you are not just buying dinner, you're triggering this massive, completely invisible logistical machine.
Right. And that digital cityscape it's the perfect image to hold on to for this. Because to understand this technology, we really have to understand the trap these local businesses are currently stuck in. I mean, restaurants absolutely need delivery to survive right now.
Oh, it's non-negotiable.
Right. And 68% of food businesses have joined popular third-party delivery platforms. They feel like they have to, but the math is it's brutal. The
Yeah.
platforms are eating their profit margins alive with fees, and honestly, worse than that, the platforms are keeping all the customer data.
That's the real kicker.
Right. The restaurant cooks the food, they box it up, but they have zero idea who you are. To me, using a third-party marketplace is it's like renting a furnished apartment.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
It's super easy. You can move in today, but you pay a massive premium. You have to follow their strict rules, and you don't actually own the property. A white label app is more like buying a prefab house. It's yours. You put your brand's logo on the front door, and you own the space.
Yeah, that analogy is spot on. If we look at the comparison data in our source material, with third parties, the platform controls the data, they control the delivery process, and they charge those heavy transaction fees.
And they take all the credit, basically.
Right, exactly. But with a white label, the restaurant gets total ownership back. They own the data, they own the delivery flow. And what's fascinating here is that consumer behavior actually backs this up.
Really? How so?
Well, according to a 2020 Sense 360 survey, 63% of people actually prefer to order directly from the restaurants themselves.
Wait, really? Over 60%?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have guessed the exact opposite. Why would someone want to download a separate app or go to a totally separate website when they could just open one app that has literally everything?
It's actually a mix of loyalty and plain old economics. Consumers aren't stupid, They know that third-party apps upcharge the menu prices to cover those massive fees.
Oh, yeah, definitely. A $15 burger suddenly becomes a $19 burger before you even see the delivery fee.
Exactly. And plus, people generally do want to support their local spots. When a consumer knows that ordering direct actually helps the restaurant keep the profit, a huge majority prefer to just do that. So for the restaurant, this isn't just a cost-saving measure, it's a customer-pleasing one.
Okay, let's unpack this because owning the prefab house sounds fantastic, until you have to actually pay for the house.
Right, exactly. The bill always comes due.
It always does. So let's talk financials. Building an app from scratch, if you wanted to build DoorDash from the ground up, that would cost anywhere from $150,000 to $500,000.
Which is just wild.
Right. I mean, for a local coffee shop, dropping $500,000 on software development is laughable. It's just a complete non-starter.
Which is precisely why this white label model is so disruptive. It just completely slashes that financial barrier to entry. Instead of building from scratch, you're taking a core, pre-built software architecture and just customizing the outer layer.
So the costs come way down.
Way down. The development costs plummet to anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000, depending on, how complex the features are.
But hold on, I'm looking at these numbers and I'm stuck on some of the underlying line items here.
Okay, what's catching your eye?
The breakdown shows licensing fees between $1,000 and $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly are they licensing if they already, bought the app?
So they are licensing the underlying pipelines. Think about the nightmare of having to write the code for a secure credit card transaction from scratch.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you.
Right. Or building an original GPS tracking system. You absolutely do not want a local bakery trying to build a hyper-secure payment gateway. They pay that licensing fee to use a pre-built, legally compliant, totally secure code base.
Okay, that makes sense. But then you have customization fees,
Yeah.
another $5,000 to $50,000. Why is the customization spread so huge? I mean, 50 grand just to change the colors and add a cute logo?
Well, it's way more than just colors. Think about it. A high-end sushi restaurant needs a completely different user flow than, say, a fast casual burrito
Oh,
place.
sure.
The sushi place might need really complex modifiers,
Yeah.
like substituting different rice types, adding specific garnishes, or maybe scheduling a big catering delivery for 3 days in advance.
Right. Well, the burrito place just wants you to tap, tap, tap and get your food in 10 minutes.
Exactly. Wiring those specific business logic rules into the app is what actually takes time and money. Plus, you have ongoing hosting services running $20 to $500 a month.
Which is pretty standard for
Mhm.
websites, yeah.
Yeah, but you also have support and maintenance at like $500 to $2,000 a month.
See, okay, I have to push back a little on the idea that this is some cheap magic bullet then.
Fair enough.
Because if you look at the broader picture, sure, $10,000 to $50,000 up front is absolutely cheaper than $500,000. But the source material highlights this massive hidden cost. Marketing.
Oh, yeah. The marketing budget is a reality check.
Right. The text says marketing expenses alone can run $1,000 to $20,000 or more, plus legal fees of $500 to $5,000. Can you explain why a restaurant suddenly has this massive marketing disadvantage just because they got a white label app?
So when you leave that fully furnished apartment of the third-party app, you are also leaving all of their foot traffic behind.
Oh, right, the built-in audience.
Exactly. If you list on a massive marketplace, people open the app just because they're hungry. They scroll, they stumble across your food, and they buy it. The platform is basically doing your marketing for you.
And with a white label app.
With a white label app, you are essentially building this beautiful, flawless new store, but you're building it in the middle of the desert. No one knows it's there.
Wow. Okay, so you have zero built-in audience.
Yeah.
You have to actively convince people who were already used to the convenience of a giant marketplace to specifically seek out your website.
Right, or download your specific app. You are taking on the entire burden of customer acquisition. That means you're paying for local targeted ads, printing physical flyers to stuff into takeout bags, sending out email blasts. It's a lot of work.
But for that investment, the development, the custom flow, the marketing, what do they actually get? Because it's not just a digital menu. Right?
No, not at all. You are buying a remarkably sophisticated operational nervous system. It's actually a 3-part machine. Essential features like real-time order tracking, multiple payment options, and loyalty programs are all baked in.
Let's break down that 3-part machine. Because when you and I order dinner, we just see the one app on our screen.
Right.
We see the menu, we pay, and we watch the little car icon move toward our house.
Yeah, so that is interface number 1, the user app. It handles the registration, the payment options, credit cards, Apple Pay, digital wallets, and that real-time tracking.
Okay, so what's part 2?
Well, for that little car icon to actually move on your screen, the user app has to talk to interface number 2, the delivery driver management app.
Ah, so the drivers have their own totally separate app.
Exactly. It's used just by the drivers to receive dispatch pings, optimize their delivery routes to avoid traffic, and track their daily earnings.
Got it. And so interface number 3 has to be the one for the kitchen.
Right, the restaurant analytics dashboard. This is the absolute brain of the operation.
What goes on in there?
This is where the business accepts the incoming orders. It manages their inventory in real time so, they don't accidentally sell a sandwich they don't have the bread for.
Which is a lifesaver during a lunch rush.
It really is. And crucially, this is where they analyze the customer data. They can pull heat maps of where their orders are going, figure out their peak hours, and even automatically send out push notifications with loyalty discounts to customers who hasn't ordered in a few weeks.
That's incredibly powerful. But here's where it gets really interesting. When you look at the ecosystem who is actually providing this technology? There is this massive paradox in the source material.
Oh, the vendor list.
Right. It lists dedicated white label providers like Enatega who offer fast setup, transparent pricing, but maybe lack some of those aggressive marketing tools we talked about.
Sure.
But sitting right next to them on the list of white label providers are the very giants these local restaurants are trying to escape. Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub.
I know, it sounds totally counterintuitive, and this raises an important question. How can a massive third-party app also be a white label provider? Why would a marketplace that makes its money by taking 30% cuts provide a tool that helps restaurants bypass those exact cuts?
Seriously,
Yeah.
aren't they just cannibalizing their own business model? I mean, if I'm DoorDash, I want everyone opening the DoorDash app, period.
Well, of course they want that.
Yeah.
But they also recognize that restaurants are hitting a breaking point with these fees. And if DoorDash doesn't offer a white label solution, a competitor definitely will.
Ah, so they're hedging their bets.
Exactly. So they offer something called white label delivery. Let's look at DoorDash Drive as the prime example here.
Okay, how does DoorDash Drive actually function for the restaurant?
So a customer goes to their favorite local burger joint's standalone website. The restaurant completely owns that website, they own the branding, and they capture your email address.
Okay, so far so good.
You place an order.
Oh,
But the local restaurant doesn't want to hire and manage its own fleet of delivery drivers, right?
right.
So behind the scenes, without the customer ever knowing, that order is automatically routed through an API directly to DoorDash.
For a while.
A DoorDash driver picks up the food and drops it off. The customer gets a seamless branded experience on the restaurant's website, and the restaurant doesn't have to deal with hiring drivers.
So they're basically just renting the logistics pipe.
Mhm.
The restaurant keeps the front-end relationship and the customer data, but they get to tap into this massive back-end infrastructure.
And just think about the sheer scale of that infrastructure. DoorDash had over 21 million downloads in the US in 2023 alone. Their logistics network is incredibly dense. Tapping into that means vastly faster delivery times than a local spot could ever manage with like two guys running orders in their own Hondas.
True, but the trade-off is still there, isn't it? You're still paying a tech giant at the end of the day. DoorDash still charges high per-order delivery fees for that service.
They absolutely do.
And Grubhub offers custom branding, but hits you with all these marketing and service fees. Uber Eats has high activation fees, and you still lose some control over the final user experience because an Uber driver is the one ultimately handing over the food.
Right. It is always a spectrum of control versus convenience. Which brings us to perhaps the most fascinating kind of psychological strategy in this entire space. Clone apps.
Yes, I was hoping we would get to this part. The concept of building an Uber Eats clone or a Food Panda clone. What is the actual mechanism there? Are these companies literally stealing code from Uber?
No, they aren't stealing proprietary code, but they are absolutely mimicking the user experience architecture. A clone script is essentially a pre-built software package designed to functionally replicate the look and feel of a major app.
So it's kind of like a Hollywood movie set. The customer walks through the front door, and it looks exactly like the Uber Eats interface they're already used to. You know, the cart is in the same spot, the swipe to order gesture is identical, but when you look behind the facade, it's entirely operated by the local restaurant staff.
That is a perfect way to visualize it. It leverages years of learned consumer behavior. People already know how to navigate Zomato or Grubhub without thinking about it.
Muscle memory.
Exactly. If a local restaurant forces a customer to learn some clunky, unfamiliar new interface, the customer is just going to get frustrated and abandon the cart. By using a clone app, the restaurant provides instant familiarity and trust. But on the back end, they are dodging the marketplace commissions and keeping the data.
It's pretty brilliant, honestly. But again, choosing the right clone or provider seems like a total minefield.
Oh, it really is.
Because the source points out platforms like Postmates, which offers zero upfront costs and cool features like group ordering, but you surrender total control over the delivery process.
Right.
Or Zomato, which is amazing for aggregating reviews and menus, but notoriously charges high delivery fees and does pretty terrible marketing for the individual restaurant. You really have to map out exactly what your business needs before you sign anything.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, that level of highly specific logistics isn't just a restaurant problem. This technology has evolved way beyond burgers and sushi.
Right, the friction of moving a physical item from a warehouse to a front door in under an hour applies to so many different industries.
Exactly. Just imagine managing inventory where the product physically dies if it isn't delivered in 2 hours.
Oh, like a florist.
Yes, flower delivery is actually a huge growth sector for white label apps. The timing is absolutely crucial for freshness. A local florist can use a white label platform to offer highly specific, same-day local delivery windows directly to their online customers.
It's also completely revolutionizing grocery delivery,
Yeah.
bringing pantry staples and toiletries straight to the door. But honestly, my absolute favorite application of this tech mentioned in the source is milk delivery.
Oh, the milk delivery is great.
It is the glorious return of the digital milkman, using a hyperlocal, route-optimized white label system to ensure fresh milk hits your porch at 6:00 a.m. sharp.
The digital milkman really highlights how any business relying on local, timely logistics can adopt this. But, and this is a big but, we have to ground this conversation in reality. Launching a digital milkman or a custom pizza app is not just some easy plug-and-play fantasy.
Right, the friction involved in white label app development is pretty severe, isn't it?
It's a massive headache.
Paint that picture for us.
Yeah.
What does that friction actually look like when things go wrong? Because setting aside the marketing struggle we already talked about, the tech itself sounds pretty seamless on paper.
On paper, sure, but in the real world, the biggest nightmare is point-of-sale integration. The POS system.
The cash register.
Basically, yeah. Let's say a busy local restaurant buys a beautiful new $20,000 white label app. But the API, the software bridge that lets two programs talk to each other, doesn't sync perfectly with their legacy POS system from, like, 2014.
Oh, no. So the digital orders come in, but the kitchen doesn't actually get the ticket.
Exactly. And you end up with what the industry calls the dreaded tablet farm.
The tablet farm.
Yeah, imagine 5 different iPads sitting on the front counter, all screaming and beeping for different delivery services. And you have a stressed-out cashier frantically typing those online orders into a physical cash register manually while the food in the back just gets cold.
That sounds incredibly stressful.
It is. Flawlessly integrating payment gateways, logistics partners, and existing POS systems requires serious, ongoing technical expertise.
Which means you are never truly done paying for it. You have to pay those ongoing monthly support fees because, well, when Apple updates iOS or Google updates Android, your little prefab house app might suddenly crash.
Yep, and you need a developer on call to fix that bug immediately or you lose a whole night of orders. The maintenance is just endless. And all the while, you are constantly fighting to prove your value proposition to a customer who already has 4 other incredibly polished food delivery apps sitting right there on their home screen.
So what does this all mean? Pulling all these threads together, for an initial investment of $10,000 to $50,000, independent businesses can essentially buy their independence.
That's the core of it, yeah.
They can reclaim their brand identity. They can take back ownership of their customer data so they actually know who they are cooking for every night.
Right.
And they can rescue their profit margins from these massive marketplace aggregators.
Right.
But the massive caveat is that it only works if they are prepared to grind out the marketing themselves and to maintain that digital property like they would maintain a physical storefront.
That is the harsh reality of the landscape. And honestly, whether you're an entrepreneur trying to scale a local bakery or you're just someone sitting on your couch tonight deciding what to eat, understanding this hidden ecosystem just completely changes how you view the apps on your phone.
It really does.
You're not just scrolling through a digital menu. You are watching a fierce, invisible battle for data, for brand loyalty, and for control over that final mile of logistics.
It totally shifts your perspective.
Yeah.
You realize that the simple Order Direct button on a local diner's website isn't just a basic link. It's actually this highly sophisticated piece of technological armor that they bought to survive in a market completely dominated by tech giants.
Exactly. And think about the long-term implication of that armor.
Where does this head in the future?
Well, if this white label technology continues to get cheaper, and it will, and if those messy POS integrations become truly flawless, imagine we reach a point in the near future where every local coffee shop, every corner florist, and every neighborhood diner has their own standalone, perfectly functioning delivery app.
Okay.
Will the giant marketplace aggregators eventually become obsolete to us as consumers?
Yeah.
Will we just stop opening their apps entirely? Instead of being the digital storefronts we visit to browse for food, maybe they simply fade into the background. They turn into nothing more than invisible, silent logistics pipes that just power our favorite independent brands.
That is a staggering thought. The digital prefab house might just end up resting entirely on the hidden foundation of the marketplace giants themselves. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Next time you hear the doorbell ring with your dinner, just remember the massive invisible machine that got it there. Keep exploring, and we'll see you next time.